Welcome back to Chummy Thumbs, everybody, the podcast where three chums talk movies, TV, and pulp culture with a whole lot of heart. I'm Justin, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, Hayden and Shao. Today, we're diving into the galaxy far, far away, but with a fresh twist. The brand new Star Wars TV series from Lucasfilms, Skeleton Crew. If you've been wondering what Star Wars looks like without the Skywalkers, Palpatines, or Death Stars, well, this is the show for you. So grab your lightsabers, your data pads, and your space snacks because this could be a real adventure. Oh, and Shao's got a lightsaber. My man. All right.
My new flashlight.
It's a flashlight. Oh, that's very haunting.
Yes.
All right, everybody, listen, today's episode, we are going to break down episode 1 of the new Skeleton Crew. And as the weeks go on and the episodes come out, we're going to go through each one. We're going to follow along with this series. Today, some of the topics we're going to get into are themes and visuals, plot highlights, characters, and we are going to end with a little trivia game I like to call Totally Wizard Trivia.
Nice lingo.
Oh, thanks.
Totally Wizard.
Totally Wizard. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, maybe a brief summary of Skeleton Crew. It's a story obviously set in the Star Wars universe, but from a completely different perspective. No Skywalkers or Palpatine drama that we know of yet anyways. This is just about, some everyday kids on a mysterious journey. Now, I loved in the Mandalorian series, when they have the intro. By the way, people, never skip the intro where they show the little like the different Star Wars characters, and they have like
that's the heads,
the
right?
helmets.
Like the heads, and they always have like a little bit of music to it. I really like this one. It's kind of soft and warm. It's got some piano and harp, and then it was like bang, the episode started and it was just like high action. So I don't know if it was just like that juxtaposition like right off the bat, because I really like when a juxtaposition works really well. I think it can add to it. So I really liked how that it started. But I want to throw it to you guys really quick, and obviously we're going to get into the meat and potatoes in a little bit here, but I'm kind of interested to hear what your guys' first impressions were. The show feel different from some of the other Star Wars series that have come out.
Hayden, would you like to go first with the guy wearing the Star Wars shirt?
Yeah, because this week I've actually got a shirt, and I'll have a different one for every episode of the series. Hopefully, I don't even know how many it's meant to be. This is sort of, here we go, Mr. Boba Fett himself. Nice. I
can't wear the Boba Fett helmet the whole episode.
The whole episode, no. But when we do like the Mando and Grogu movie, you're gonna have to wear it for the whole thing.
Okay.
we'll all have one. Twist around. Just a preface. I kind of had only heard a smidgen of this series when they announced that, whatever it was, D23 back in whenever it was, because I hadn't really followed, which is really bad of me because I love Star Wars so much and when The Mandalorian absolutely kicked ass, and then Book of Boba Fett, and you followed on with that. I didn't do Andor yet. I watched like the first episode, and then I didn't do the Acolyte, and I haven't done Ahsoka, and I'm like, I've got so many to catch up on. But then this one came out, and I was like, okay, I've got to watch this one because 1, I love Jude Law. 2, it's to do with space pirates, which I think is going to be a fun twist on the Star Wars universe. So to get into the show, I actually, Alex was already asleep when I started watching it. And it starts, I know you said that it goes straight into it, but the first 5 seconds of it is actually just dead space. And I didn't know how loud to have the TV because I'm like, I don't know, I'm just turning it up, going, is there sound? Am I missing something? And then it's like, I was like, no. So, I did like the fact that it's not a jump scare, but it's sort of similar to a jump scare where you're kind of not expecting it. But I should have expected something like that because A New Hope starts similar where it's just dead space and then the first starship comes across and then the next, then the Star Destroyer comes across and you're like, oh, shit. But I instantly, straight away, opening scene, I was like, this is a direct homage to the beginning of A New Hope, like almost shot for shot. The reactions, the setup of the people on the credits ship or whatever it was. I was like, oh, this is a good little like nod to the original. So that I really enjoyed. And then I kind of got a Pirates of the Caribbean feel with only because what happened wasn't what the captain at the time wanted to happen. He was expecting there to be, the biggest bounty haul of all time, and there was nothing. The whole thing gave me I loved it, gave me very strong Spielberg vibes, like 80s era Spielberg, because it was based around young kids dealing with an adventure. I was like, and like Robert Zemeckis, I was like, this has got Goonies on it. It's got a bit of E.T. flair to it. It's got some, I'm thinking like some Hook stuff going on, but all like young kids on an adventure. And I was like, I love this. This is great. This is a new viewpoint of a Star Wars universe that we haven't seen yet, like to go the age younger. And then, like you said, Justin, juxtaposition will have, I'm thinking, if they ever hook up with any of the adult pirates, they're going to have adults and kids and see how that works. But we don't know yet until we go further episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Just before you go in, Chow, I just want to just talk one thing on that. There was like one moment in sort of that opening sequence where I thought, is this going to be too childish? Like, is this more going to be geared towards kids? Like, just when that Beast character and the captain, there's just like, I don't know, there's just some lines of the dialogue where I was like, maybe this, and I even like jotted it down, like, is this going to be too childish? But that was like quickly just like gone and out of my brain with obviously how the rest of the episode played out. So I thought they did a very good job with that. Anyways, Shao.
Just right off the bat, you mentioned the music, and I remember seeing the fact that I don't remember the name of the composer, but his father is also a famous composer, and I believe he did the music for Penguin as well, and I think some other Pixar movies. But he did a really good job with the music, and I think the first thing I noticed, yes, it was a very, you jump right into, the pirates. What do you call it when the pirates take over a ship or something? Where they
Mutiny?
Yes, sure. Yeah. Well, mutiny is when you take when they
did to the captain.
Turn on the captain, right?
Yeah. Isn't that what you meant?
Okay. No, I know. I thought there was a term when pirates actually like kind of
attack another ship.
Yeah.
Commandeer and I don't know.
Commandeer, isn't that right?
Commandeer? Yeah.
That's nice. Well done.
Was that a trivia question? Well, ding, ding, ding,
you're a good
hey, you wrote the trivia
guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I agree with you where it kind of just goes straight into it, which is great. And okay, this is one of the things that I think after I say it, I will always get a reaction of "Are you fucking kidding me?" kind of thing, which is that Hayden alluded to the fact that this show draws a lot from other movies. And I think the obvious one is the Goonies, and yeah, there's Pirates of the Caribbean in there, but I actually have never watched the Goonies, so
Bruh.
that's the kind of reaction. I know, but like, okay, so when I think about, because I've always known what it is, and I've always seen clips of it, and a lot of pop culture always alludes to it and stuff like that. But I think growing up at that age, I was watching other things. I was watching more like Hong Kong stuff. And I was never really exposed to the childhood. I watched Home Alone way later than when I was supposed to, I think. Because, yeah, my sister, my older brother, and everyone, they were watching other stuff. So I was watching what they were watching. But anyways, I digress. But, okay, so I think you're going to talk about this later, Justin, like some of the effects and stuff. But I just want to share that this is my initial thought.
Mhm.
was that I personally was not very impressed with Brutus, like the wolf. I wasn't. I thought it looked too much. It reminded me of the puppetry from Ninja Turtles 2 of the Toka and Razor, like the characters, and
Mhm.
it just seemed when they talk, it seemed a little bit too puppety in a way.
Just like a hand
I
puppet.
know, but I don't know. I just at first that's the first thing I saw, and I was like, oh, this looks it's kind of taking me out of it a little bit. But that's the only quote unquote negative thing I have. Like, as it progressed, I immediately was kind of drawn into that world and kind of it was just like exploring, looking at everything because it looked so cool,
Mhm.
and every scene was kind of like, wait, what does that mean? Or like, what's that? Or what's that? Or like, what are they talking about here? There's so much to uncover and unravel. So I'm still hooked. I love those. I love the fact that it's space pirate themed, and there's a lot of potential and a lot of um, interesting ways this story can go. So I'm really excited for I mean, not season, the upcoming episodes.
Totally, totally. And actually, that Brutus, like you say, with the look, and that's where I had that moment of feeling like, is this going to be too childish?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the, I don't know, just in like the whole Star Wars universe, and when the second trilogy came out, I think a lot of people were upset with how much they CGI'd stuff. Like everybody was so used to like original puppets, and even though
Yeah, yeah,
maybe they looked fake or like puppets or whatever, they when they messed with that, I think a lot of people sort of had issue with it, like the diehards. So I wonder if I've liked that they reincorporate more puppet-esque characters, if that's what you
yeah,
want to call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, I did have that moment, and he was the character where I was like, maybe this is a bit too much. So, but we only ever see the pirates and Brutus and the captain in that opening sequence, right? And then it's gone, which kind of leads me into the first topic here with themes and visuals, because one thing I really really liked about it actually, um, was we've gotten so used to Star Wars as a galaxy far far away, and we get to see all these really cool and unique interpretations of what civilizations might look like on this far far reaches of a galaxy, and this is what civilization would look like here. But we've never ever seen, at least that I can recall, what Earth would look like in futuristic Star Wars universe times.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that this is Earth, but I'm calling it Earth. I had jotted it down so many times, like, is this Earth? It must be a planet that's like Earth. Well, of course, the universe is huge, so there's got to be another planet like Earth. I don't care. I'm calling it Earth. And sort of, I love that. Sort of that unique perspective, and you know, and just the stories that they're just everyday people dealing with sort of everyday struggles that we are dealing with, just with more futuristic tech, essentially.
Mhm.
You still had like these suburbs that you would kind of see on Earth, but they're just kind of more futuristic. You have kids taking school buses with the robot school bus driver, and they're you know doing kids sing, like sticking
Bullying
gum
the
on the back of
freaking
his
yeah,
his
yeah,
head, and even like in the classroom, right? They're like 11, 12-year-old kids, and instead of teaching like how to do long division and basic science, there's like this really complex futuristic education, which I loved all those little details. I feel like doing that, it made it a lot more relatable
yeah.
for a Star Wars film, outside of just maybe some of the themes, but actually the visuals, and again, I'm gonna call it Earth. So I don't know what you guys like, what you guys thought about that. Like, did it kind of make Star Wars feel like a little bit closer to home for you guys as well?
Yeah, for me, it did. I mean, yeah, it just seemed like just a more, like you said, a futuristic Earth. You know, they have everything you see in a suburb. You know, kids riding bikes, but they're hover bikes. You know,
Yeah.
how they're in the classroom, and you know, kids instead of paying attention, they'll be like goofing, doing action sketch or whatever, that little knobby thing he was drawing on his desk or whatever. You know what I mean? And just like the relationships from with the parents and stuff like that, and just wanting to go play instead of doing actual work and studying for whatever test that
Yeah,
they're
like
supposed to do.
their career assessment at like
Yeah, yeah,
12
yeah, yeah.
years old. It's like, holy crap, at 11 or 12, you're gonna know what you want or going to do.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Before Hayden, you chime in here. Are we? Is it safe to say that the mutiny pirate is Jude Law? I mean, in my head, in the first scene, it's just like it sounds like him, right? You don't see him. It sounds like him, and also his name is on the first name that comes up in the credits. Like he's not even in the episode technically, but his
No,
name is on.
you don't see his face. So
You don't see
We
his
have
face.
our first bold prediction.
bold prediction, yeah.
First
ding.
bold
Like-
prediction.
He had the
Actually-
swagger of Jude Law, and he had the touch of his accent. It's very distinctive
Yeah.
voice, even though it is,
You're not
you know,
supposed to know yet, maybe. But then I also didn't watch any trailers for this, and
Me
I only saw the
Yeah.
banner on Disney Plus, and you see a big face of Jude Law. So I actually didn't even know it was like a kids thing. You know, I'm not saying it's a kids show, but it's based around 4 kids going on an adventure. I didn't know that until after I was done this episode.
you're like, wait, this is what?
Yeah, so I was pleasantly
What did
surprised.
I think
agree
it is
to?
safe to
God
say
damn
that.
it.
I think it is safe to say that.
Yeah.
I agree with both of your points in that I even wrote it down here. I was like, this is the first time that I think we've seen like domesticity, if that's a word, and like suburban life in Star Wars. Like, I mean, you've seen domesticity. Is that the word? I don't know.
We're just gonna roll with it. I just
Yeah,
wanted to hear
yeah,
how
yeah.
many
I'm
times you
a
guys-
writer, so it is a real word. Domesticity on Alderaan when not Alderaan, freaking Tatooine with Luke and his aunt and uncle. We've seen that domestic life, but that's a farm life in a desert planet. And Star Wars likes to go back to the desert planet or the forest planet. So it's kind of nice to see something that was more Earth-like, where it was a bit of everything. They're clearly in suburbia. There's forests there. There's water. You know, it was kind of, at first it was a little jarring to me because we haven't seen anything like that before. Even in like the animated stuff with like Rebels and Clone Wars, I don't think I've ever seen like towns. And I guess if it's usually towns, it's some other alien species, but this was humans. So it took me a second, but then as they got out of the suburbs and rolled into the city, and you've got all the future tech, and there's the mixing of cultures and alien species and whatnot, I was like, okay, here it is. This is kind of nice to see, because you think about it. Yeah, like you said, Justin, it's in a galaxy far, far away. Galaxies are massive. There are planets of all types. There are species of all types. Of course, there's going to be something similar to what we grew up on. It's just originally it was written as something, let's do something entirely different to what we as human life see now. So initially jarring, secondary, it's familiar, but a mixing of the two was I thought it was good, and it was a good way to kind of set up the fact that the story is going to follow your everyday dreamer kid to see what he gets up to. So it was a good way to introduce his type of character, because he clearly is infatuated with Jedi and Jedi lore. And I mean, they started off like Shao, you did with your flashlight at the very start here. He and his buddy do lightsaber battles on the sidewalk. You know, it's what I did growing up. Always with a flashlight too, just like
Yeah.
And then to have the bully kids be like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah. Dude, I remember, like, I don't know, what grade I was in. I have a nephew. He's 4 years younger than me, and I remember like just being in the garage one day, and we're like, "All right, we're gonna fucking make a lightsaber," and just like like obviously we didn't make a lightsaber, but it's just it's hard not to dream of being a Jedi, the lightsaber battles, the Force. I even liked in the career assessment when he basically answered, everybody is giving these proper answers. And I forget exactly what he says. I wish I should have wrote the quote down, but he says something, and then his buddy after goes, "I can't believe you told the class that you wanted to be a Jedi." And he's like, "I didn't tell him that." Well, yeah, you basically did. It's like,
Oh yeah,
like
I don't remember what he said either. I love Neil. Neil is
yeah,
best. He's the best.
yeah, he's a great character.
Out of the four, kids. So I think one of the things parallels or comparisons is, even though I think it's probably more Goonies, but I did get more of like a Stranger Things sort of vibe too, right? And this is probably up for debate, but I think that if you put up those four kids on the first season of did you both watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Hayden's nodding. Not
Yeah.
really.
But okay, well,
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
I honestly think that for a while at least, that what's the name of the main character, the kid?
Wim.
Wim, yeah. I don't know. I think, obviously they did their, casting, whatever, but there was a few moments where it kind of bugged me, like the kid acting kind of bugged me a little bit. And so I was making comparisons of these four versus the Stranger Things four, or yeah, the core four, I guess. And I think it's kind of, I wouldn't say night and day, but I think they did a fantastic job casting for Stranger Things. Whereas I really like Neil, I really like KB, but I think Fern and Wim, sorry. I don't know. I still think they're kind of growing into it, and it kind of sometimes in some scenes it takes me out of it. I don't know, like it's
Interesting.
obviously a small thing, and obviously they're children and acting in like a green room, or it's fucking hard. I get it, but there were times where I thought it was very I don't know, it just seemed kind of not organic sometimes. And I also think that those two characters are hard to play, especially I know Wim is supposed to be very, maybe he's bored of his you know, his town. He's just seeking for adventure. He's cuts class and whatever. He's just, he's going against the grain.
It's very whimsical.
Stop. And so, and Fern is supposed to be, a little bit more of like a punky sort of a rebel kind of girl, and I think it does show in the dialogue, but I do feel that she does kind of force it sometimes in certain scenes. But I mean, it's obviously a small note. I'm just nitpicking, but I'm just telling you guys what I kind of, these thoughts that I had in my head when I was watching it. That's all.
I can't say I got any of that personally myself. What about you, Hayden?
My initial comparison was like, who are these characters to characters from the original four? That's what I was trying to like link them to. I was like, oh, you've got a headstrong, hard ass girl who's kind of like Leia, and then I was like,
I see what you're saying it.
Yeah, and then I was like, Wim is kind of like a very, very young Han Solo. He's adventurous, he's kind of goofy, but he wants to be a leader. So I was like, but he's obviously too young to know what he's doing. And then you got really good sidekicks. I also thought kind of Neil was sort of like almost like a C-3PO. He's very nervous about doing anything that's not the proper thing.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
So KB is R2D2 or something?
Yeah, I think so. Or like a Chewie. She's like Chewie. She's just really good with tech.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
If I was to
Yeah,
like
that's a good
stretch
point.
the comparisons to the original four, I was just like they're two different types of leads with two very unique sidekicks in inverted commas, but they're also, I think they're going to end up doing their own thing that'll bring them all to the forefront, if that makes sense. You know, they're not just going to be like, here are the two kids and these other two are background kids. There's going to be all four of them going to have something important to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're kind of, it's, Wim and his buddy, Fern and her buddy. And so they're kind of setting it up, like it's two sides, right? And ultimately, they're going to have to come together at some point, and what that is and why and when, who knows. But I foresee some good like headbutting coming between Wim and Fern.
Oh, for sure.
Anything else on themes or visuals that you wanted to touch on, Hayden or Shao?
I just want to really, really quickly. I had to do a rewind at the very start, when Brutus picks up the one credit, and I was like, wait up, because I mean they're in the New Republic era now, so I was like, okay, what is the credits? And it was a Rebel Alliance credit, so I was like, this is obviously a rebel ship of some sort. Well, I mean, after that fact, it would have been part of the New Republic. But I'm just wondering if that's a foreshadow of anything, because they did a good job of flipping that coin and making sure it hit the light to show the symbol. Because otherwise, like, if it didn't mean anything, he could have just picked up any old piece of gold, you know.
I think knowing this and seeing the amount of Easter eggs and callbacks and whatever, it's there for a reason. Yeah.
Or it could
And
just
also
be a fan service, you know.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, that's true.
All right, well, let's move on then. Let's get to some of the plot stuff. Now, this is where we can have some fun and start to try and guess and theorize and hypothesize and domesticize, as Hayden, whatever word he liked to use earlier. Domesticists. There's a couple, it's the first episode of something. We got a lot of backstory sort of on the characters. Well, two main characters with Fern. Wim, as Hayden had kind of mentioned earlier, he's kind of adventurous. I mean, we find out that, we don't know where his mother is, if she's out of the picture for some reason. We haven't got backstory on that yet. His dad is obviously a very busy guy, not around much, leaves him, enough credits for a week of school lunches. So he's obviously pretty preoccupied with whatever he's doing. Fern is like this strong character. Her mother is a strong character who is obviously higher up somewhere within some sort of something to do with, I don't know, some organization that sort of decides what people's careers are. We don't really know too much yet. Yeah. Anyways, neither of them are really wanting to sort of take this next step in life, is sort of what I've got from it. Wim misses his career assessment test, which kind of leads to one of the bigger plot points in the show so far, because as he misses the bus, he's late, he slept his alarm, he forgot to set it, whatever the excuse was, and he hops on one of these hover bikes and he's trying to get to the school, and he knows there's a shortcut because he's seen some of the cool kids take it through the forest on their hover bikes earlier in the episode. This ultimately leads to him crashing and falling down this ravine and revealing to him what he thinks at the time is a Jedi temple. Now, when he ends up going to the school, he's outside the principal's office. His dad comes out and he starts telling his dad, look, there's this Jedi temple that's hidden here. Let me rewind a bit. When he's waiting outside the office, this is where him and Fern sort of have their first interactions,
Mhm.
like real interactions. And you know, kind of asking what you're here for, that sort of thing, casual talk. Anyway, so when his dad comes out, he tells him about this Jedi temple. Of course, Fern overhears it. Now, later that night, Wim gets his friend Neil because they're going to go dig out this Jedi temple. But lo and behold, who's there? It is Fern and her friend. And they called claimsies on it. Now, what they end up finding out is this, in fact, isn't a Jedi temple. It is a starship. A starship that takes them at the end of the episode. It ends with them powering it up, and it goes into space through the barrier. And that made me think, the barrier, that, wait a minute, weren't they talking something about a barrier, some sort of science in the classroom? Like, what is this barrier? What is it? Is it to protect them from something? Is it to protect the atmosphere? Are they hiding? It was, and it ends with them. It's the first time they've even seen the stars, and I was like, whoa, what? Like, so many questions I had. So I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys think is going on about this whole barrier thing. At first, I kind of was thinking like it's maybe to protect the planet, but I don't know. Is that too? It seems almost too simple for a story. Like maybe it's to hide, but what are they hiding from? You know. So I'm interested to hear kind of what you guys thought. Of course, while you're thinking about that, as I throw it at you, the other main plot happens in the very opening sequence, which we talked about, where the pirates take the ship. They're supposed to get this big loot. There's only one credit. That's all we know. So there's sort of these two storylines going on, and a lot to sort of theorize and think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the main thing about the first thing is you kind of have to assume that, I mean, those two storylines gonna somehow intertwine. And so the main thing is how and when are the kids going to end up in Jude Law's storyline? Because I mean, he's
With
the
the
face.
pirates, yeah.
Yeah, he's the face of the fucking thing, it seems like.
Yeah.
But I thought that I mean the main thing is pretty much you just kind of you're wondering how the kids are going to meet up somehow with Jude Law. You know? Like there's so much
With the
mystery.
pirates.
Yeah.
Assuming that Jude Law is the pirate. He might be
I think
some other.
it's a bold prediction. We're gonna roll with it, just like it's
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
It's Earth, and
Hot
it's
take.
Jude Law.
It's a hot take.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a lot of mystery around that planet. You mentioned before, Justin, that you know it could be because they're just protecting the planet, but I feel like plot wise, I feel like there's just more secrets involved that will get uncovered. The fact that they've never seen stars or they're like, oh, so many, like they'd never really seen the night sky before, so it's almost like some sort of Truman Show thing where they, you know, they're in a bubble, right, with a barrier. So why? But I think that, oh, this is I remember seeing that there's just so many theories that kind of in my head kind of that don't really go anywhere. I'm like, oh, that would be really stupid. But I think that it's honestly my initial thought was it's they hold some sort of um secret or some sort of knowledge about some sort of energy force or something like that might be very valuable to other planets or something like that. That's my initial thought.
Interesting, because I wonder then if you're to roll off that theory, say, if the parents are somehow connected to that, especially Fern's mom, because she seems like if there is some secret, yeah, like she would be the one to know, and Wim's dad would be like you know, like in Rogue One, the dad who's goes back and builds a plan to the Death Star and leaves. Like, you know, working. Not saying that Fern's mom is bad or will be bad, but it'd be funner if she is. And then
Yeah.
his dad is like kind of working for them at a higher up position. And then that would actually cause even conflict down the line to the kids.
Yeah.
If
I
their
just think there's some
parents,
sort of like secret society because in Fern's house, because you get to see it briefly when whatever, but there's a giant mural in the common room or something that looked a little
Illuminati.
yes, I was gonna say stonemasonry, but that's not the right word, but Illuminati-esque. But so I think there's something there. I think the mom knows or she's gonna play a bigger part. I think, anyways. Hayden, do you
I
have
can see it.
any
Yeah.
crazy zany theories?
Crazy zany theories. Well, just to run off of it's now going to piggyback on the fact that there are certain higher ups in the political system of Earth that
It's
are
Earth,
covering.
okay? You
are
can't
covering
tell
up
me it's
something.
not Earth.
It's
Earth.
Star Wars. Star Wars has never had Earth, so I can.
Well,
Until we
now,
can
maybe.
find out what
I
it
can
is,
put
can
an
we just
M-
call it Earth, people?
That's why I called it Earth. I'll put the emphasis on Earth.
You air
Yeah, you did
it.
this. You
People
did this
listening
thing, so you're
can't
clearly
hear, but
not
we
buying
saw
it.
the air quotes, Hayden. God damn it! Don't
Okay,
take this
anyway.
away from me.
On Earth, so there are definitely some cover-ups going on. That relates to the fact, okay, so we have space pirates. We have a crashed ship. If you think about in our time, why do ships sink? Why do ships crash?
Icebergs.
Pirate ships, work with me here. Why do pirate ships
Oh.
usually sink? Because they're searching for treasure.
Treasure.
So
Yep.
I'm thinking that this was a pirate ship looking for a treasure, may have found where it was, crashed. I think it's hilarious that the one person on the ship is a droid and he's missing an eye and he's got a peg leg.
This is a sound theory. I really like it, actually.
I wasn't finished yet though. So my thought is that there's either
I like it so far.
whoever was on that ship is either on Earth trying to cover something up. Hence why, or just I think something there, government-wise, is protecting the civilians. Even though it's in the New Republic era, they don't really have. The only thing they have to worry about, is mercenary groups and pirates trying to loot and raid either side, like the diminishing forces of the Empire and the new, Republic come up. Right, it's a sort of. They don't say exactly when it is, so I don't know if there's sort of like a transition turmoil going on or if there is in fact a fully implemented new galactic government or if it's sort of like, people are fighting out for who's going to be the dominant, Well, obviously there is after, Return of the Jedi. They're like, yep, this is what we're doing, this is the way we're going. So that's my theory, is that there's something on that planet. They figured it out. They crashed. They're either alive in the society trying to figure out how to get back. But judging by the fact that the ship is completely buried underground, I think it's been there for quite some time. So maybe it was like a crash, no survivors sort of thing.
I really like that, actually. Very clever. At first, when I was trying to think of how this ship relates to the story, I was more trying to think of how it relates to, like, if there's any connection between that ship and the empty vault at the beginning of the episode and that pirate ship, and like, because even at the end of the episode, they exit the barrier. There's that moment where it's like, oh, like stars. I didn't know there were so many, whatever. And then the episode ends with them going into hyperdrive. And I was like, is this thing on autopilot? Like, is it like going to the pirates? Is it going, like, where is it going? So I was trying to make the connection that way, more to the sort of opening sequence than to what your theory is. But I really like your theory.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was also just piggybacking off of that. But the more I think about it, I think it's false. I was just wondering if Hayden said there were no survivors. I wonder if there were, and maybe I was wondering if they kind of like somehow amongst, I don't know. I just think there's some, I don't know. I think
That is what Hayden
logically
said,
make,
though. Yeah.
huh?
Hayden said he did say about there could be a survivor living on the planet.
I just think that,
Yeah.
but okay, we don't, do we know how long it's been since that thing crashed? No, we don't, right?
No.
Yeah, so I think logically right now, I mean, it seems like how it's buried and all that stuff, or I
Yeah.
don't know, it could have been like a long time ago, so I don't know if, whatever. But and if there was a survivors, I feel like it would be maybe just like one or two, maybe one, just because if there's more than one, they would probably maybe want to get rid of the evidence or something. I don't know, but that's why the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know, but it'd be definitely very, very interesting if there was a survivor.
It would. No, man, I can't wait to get further into this and start to figure out all these things.
Yeah.
I think we talked a lot about characters through all these other topics, so I'm going to skip that one. But before we get to the Totally Wizard trivia, I wish I would have went back and rewatched to see the logo on the door. But do you think him thinking it's that, well, and Shao too, that Wim thinking it was a temple at first, not a ship, is irrelevant? Like is it, do you think it's something standalone, or is it a maybe like a nod to like some larger like Star Wars lore? Does that make sense? Like,
Um,
do you think it's an Easter egg? Let me put it that way. Do you think there was there any Easter eggs or connections that you picked up on in episode 1 that tie it to the main saga? I'm wondering if that door has something to do with it, or if maybe it's irrelevant, maybe it's standalone.
I I would I could be wrong, but because this show is so deep in Easter eggs and hidden little gems here and there, I originally thought them calling it temple was some sort of nod to like Indiana Jones. Like
Ah,
that's what the original thing that I thought was, but it could very well be a completely separate thing. But I didn't think much of it, but who knows? Honestly, who
yeah.
knows?
Just putting out questions.
Yeah, yeah,
Hayden?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it would have been not. It would have been cool if it was a Jedi temple, but I think for it to be so much in ruin, when, well, I guess the Jedi they hadn't even really been, since Order 66 been that extinct in terms of long, lifetime. You'd think, because what, it would only have been. Well, again, we don't know how far into the future we are because this is between what, Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, right? It's in that time frame. So that in itself is only what, I don't know, 60 years, if that, not even that. Well, obviously not, because Leia and Han are still, and Luke are all still alive. So, so it hasn't been that far. So to have a temple be like that, and I know that he's like, oh, sometimes the Jedi temples can go underground, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then when it's revealed that it is not what it is, I think, oh, okay.
I didn't see it coming that it was going to be a starship.
No, I thought it was just going to be
was-
some like underground bunker thing that he found. And I thought, that's why I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it would be cool that it's a temple. But I was like, it seems that if it was, why is Wim the only one that he looks on his little tablet and he's got Jedi stuff on there and he's the only one that talks about it, like as it being a realistic thing. Because clearly in this world, they don't look for young kids to be, younglings anymore. Obviously.
Yeah.
Because even though you think that Luke started his Jedi school, that he would be searching for force sensitive kids, but obviously it's not like on their planet is not a thing to really use as a career anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, like you said, just throwing questions out there. Lots of things that you could be like, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if.
What do you think would be the most disappointing thing if like they open the door and they walk in and like I just had this thought like what if like
There's like
they,
some
they
creature
go
in
in
there.
they go
just
in and it's like
kills them.
a hatch from Lost, you know, just you
Yeah.
see a number of they use like Dharma Initiative, like it's the worst way to start an episode.
I was not expecting it to be a starship. And even when they were in there at first, I didn't really know. Actually, that was a question I had, right? The door opens and like, would you guys go in? You're 11, 12 years old. This friggin' like underground bunker door opens. It's dark. Do you go in? I guess they were kind of forced to go in because they didn't really go in at first.
Well, I think if in that crew, if with a group of people, yes, I'd probably go in. I would not go in. I
Yeah.
would not go in by myself.
No.
Yeah. I would be the third person in.
Yeah. I
You
won't
go
be not
first.
last. Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to keep going with this thing and
Yeah.
seeing how all these storylines and plots turn out. Very excited. But for now, I think let's move on to some totally wizard trivia. We'll end with it. Now, these are all I came up with as I was watching it. So some of them have come up even in our discussions. So you guys will be racing for the dinger. And some of them you might have to really stretch and think. And some of them you might have to flat out guess. So we'll see how well you'll do. Play along at home. As always, it is going to be a dinger. So first one to ding in gets to answer. There's no multiple choice. It's straight up. How well do you know episode 1? Which leads me into my first question. What is the title of episode 1?
Ding, 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 ding.
Hayden.
This could be a real adventure.
That's it. 1 point.
I know
Hayden.
this is something.
Okay.
You even mentioned it in your opening.
I know a lot of this stuff that has come up. Okay. And a lot that hasn't. Okay. Question 2. There's 11, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll go through all of them. Question 2. Name the 4 main kid characters.
Ding ding ding.
Shao.
Okay, we have Wim, Neil, Fern, and KB.
That's it. 1-1.
Thank God.
Okay.
Off the board.
Here's one for you. Finish the sentence.
Fuck.
In the opening scene, Brutus, the Beast character, says, "You lost your ship. Don't what?"
I got nothing.
Don't lose your team.
Oh, so
Your
close.
crew?
Don't lose your life.
You're lying.
You lost your ship. Don't lose your life.
Damn it. Okay.
Okay. What are tablets called? What do they call the tablets?
Oh, geez. I didn't even realize that they said anything about that. I'm just going to take a guess. Ding, 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 ding.
Hayden.
Hollow boards.
Hollow boards, not correct.
Obviously it's no, I can't think of anything that's even funny.
Okay.
I was going for a funny response. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, you got to be funny to be able to do that. The answer is data pads. Question number next.
Next.
Let's see if you guys get this one. What was the deal the boys made with the girls when they went back to inspect the Jedi Temple? So when the boys went back and the girls were there, girls called claimsies, and then the boys made a deal with the girls. Do you remember what that deal was?
Ding 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 ding. I didn't think it was with the girls, but they said once they claims that they could open the door, but if they go in first, they'll reclaims it once they're inside.
So that's
what he said with
Neil
Neil.
and Wim.
Yeah,
But they made a deal with the girls before.
I can't recall. Shall?
Oh no, I was gonna say that it's wrong, but I thought something to do with how they'll let them in or something like that, but they have to go in first or something like that.
I will give that to you for the answer. The deal was that if the boys dug it out, that they get to look inside. So
yeah, that's
go inside, look inside. You can't go in without looking. You can't look
right.
without
That's right. That's right.
1.5 Shao, 1
Okay,
Hayden.
I'll take the lead.
Okay. This is really gonna test you.
Oh, she is.
When Wim was on his data pad at night, he was thumbing through. He landed on an image with a Jedi and a beast. What color was the lightsaber?
Ding 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 ding.
Aiden.
It was red, wasn't it?
Incorrect.
Ah, well, it's either one of two colors.
One of 3.
3.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not
4.
purple, but
5.
Green.
That is correct. It was green.
So it was a picture of Luke.
Wow. Pulling away with the lead. 2.5 points.
Because I was like, oh, it's only like red and blue colors on that tablet thing.
Sorry, what's the fifth color? Blue, green, purple for Samuel. Red.
There's
and yellow.
Like a ember, like a yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, so I don't know.
Okay. Hayden,
What
2 questions left. You're
on?
still in it at 2.5 Shao, 1 Hayden.
Okay.
Here we go. When in the Star Wars timelines, don't ding yet, does this take place? After or before which movie or show? So you can tell me which show or movie it's directly after, or which show or movie it's directly before.
Ding, ding,
And I
ding,
can give
ding.
you a hint. You both look stumped. It's in between 2 shows.
In between 2 shows.
Ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
Oh shit. Okay. Is it after Clone Wars?
You're just throwing shit at the wall. No, that's incorrect.
Well, technically it is after Clone Wars.
I asked directly after.
So ding, 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 ding. So it's after The Mandalorian.
Oh, you're going. Think about it. Think about it. Half point. Think about it a bit more. You're on the right track.
He gets a half point for that, even though my answer is correct too.
No, I'm not giving him a half
You
point.
said it's
He's
in
gotta get
between.
there.
You said it's in between 2 shows.
Yeah.
No, next question. There's too much.
Yeah,
too much.
too much.
Dilly dallying.
Too much
dilly dallying.
You were going down there. I
trying to solve
tried to lead you there because it was Mandalorian, and then Book of Boba Fett, and then Ahsoka, and now Skeleton Crew.
So there was
And
3 shows.
The other show, it's before the Resistance, the animated one.
Oh.
Ah.
So wait. So
But
technically,
when
it's
you went to
after.
Mando, I thought I could get
Oh,
you
to
there,
go
'cause
to the next
there was
shows
after
afterwards.
Mandalorian.
See, I haven't seen Ahsoka to know what
Okay.
time frame they put it in. That's on me.
Okay, for the next question. Whoa, geez, would you look at that? It's worth 10 points.
Here we
Is this
go.
question 11, or did you just randomly
No.
want to make this one?
No, it's question 11. Okay, it's worth
that
the
11
point. worth the
already?
point. Yeah,
We
Here we go.
missed a lot.
this one, be ready to ding. It's coming quick. You guys will get this one. How many credits were found in the vault?
Ding
ding,
ding.
ding, ding, ding.
Shao.
There's 1 credit in the vault.
1 credit, that's correct. Shao for 3.5 points.
Did we really
Nice.
miss 6 questions?
Dang.
I think I skipped one. Hold on.
Oh shit. Okay, here we go.
Hold on. I did skip one. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
I can,
Okay, this one is worth
I can
90
lose by
live.
1
Okay.
less. 1.5 less.
Here we go. And it's kind of the whole reason I named it this trivia. When Wim says to Fern, That's totally wizard. What was he referring to?
Oh,
Go ahead, Aiden. You look like you know.
I thought you would get it.
no, I can't even remember when
wrote
he
it
says
down
it the
'cause I was
first
like,
time.
I love that slang. Totally
Yeah.
wizard. He says that's totally wizard.
Ding 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 ding.
Hate
Was
it.
it when he goes to Neil's house and busts him in the bathtub and he tells him that he found something? That's the
No,
first
he
time.
says it to Fern. He says it to Fern.
He says it to Fern the first time.
Is this something to do with the
The
freaking?
question was when Wim says to Fern, that's totally
Oh.
wizard. What's he referring to? What's he talking about?
Yeah, I can't
Anyways, the
remember.
correct answer is her bike.
Oh my god!
Sees her bike, and he goes, "That's totally wizard."
I was literally gonna say is
Ah.
it something to do with the bike, but then whatever. It's okay. I locked it to win anyways. Anyways.
Anyways, yes, I hope you all played along at home and did better than these schmucks. That's it for today's adventure, everyone. Skeleton Crew is shaping up to be something truly unique in the Star Wars universe. Can't wait to keep following it along. Hope you come back and do it with us. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Share with us your thoughts. What did you love? What are your biggest questions about the show so far? Let us know. Come back next week. We're going to get into episode 2. Much love from this Skeleton Crew. Until next week, keep on thumbing.
Amen.